Hey everybody, my name is SirCrest, and have you ever thought to yourself, man, I really wish I could make that really nice, heavy, big vehicle, but actually have suspension? Well, I'm here to show you how to have working parallel suspension, as you can see here. This is my vehicle I've created, and you'll notice all the springs are working. And it's not just visual, they actually do support the vehicle properly. To give you an idea, this entire vehicle is made out of metal, which is the heaviest material, I believe. Unless there's dark matter or something available. The heaviest material that you can use in the game, and all this works wonderfully. This whole vehicle is insanely heavy, and so I have 5 of the large springs on the vehicle using electric motors, and it just goes over, as you saw through the cornfields, really well. It's really quite nice. And then I have these sort of actuating arms on the back to smooth it out even further. Works out really well. Now it's not perfect, but I'm going to be showing you some tips that me and someone else were able to come up with, specifically so it doesn't bug out all the time. So let me head on over to one of these stations and we'll get started. Alright, so basically you'll notice that there's a lot of blocks here. But pretty much, to simplify it, you have one, I'm going to call them spring, but one spring connected to the wheel directly. But what happens is that, well, it might be easier just to build something. So let's build something. I'll use heavy materials here. Make a 4x4 or something like that. So pretty much, I'm going to make a little thing here to demonstrate. So this is pretty much that thing on top. I'm going to then put a bearing, because this is what it is in the front, and then a block there, so that rotates. Now, if you want to have multiple springs, they all need to attach to the same pivot point. Actually, for the sake of it, we'll just do 3 here. You place your springs, then you place 3 of them, but 1 on each spring. Now, because the game has no welding mechanic right now, this is the best I can do. And it's important that with the way blocks are connected, that you attach them to the proper block. Even though these look like they're in a line, they're completely independent. They're connected to the springs, which are then connected to the blocks up top. Now, here's how it works effectively. You're basically sandwiching the other 2 sort of auxiliary secondary springs inside. So I'm going to create 2 here. That's how it's set up on here. And then 1 below, and then attach it here. So what happens is, actually it might be easier if I use a different material. That might make things easier. So we'll have metal as the main one. And then we'll have wood. And then main material. And then you have your wheel right there. Let's use the smaller wheel for this demonstration. So as you can see, when this pushes up, it's directly connected to the main spring, but these are being compressed at the same time. Now they love to clip. And that's why you have 2 here. So occasionally you'll have an issue where it'll clip inside of it and then the whole physics goes crazy. And it might be possible to do this then 4 high, which the person who came up with the idea of doubling it to solve the stability problem seems to have worked for him. But I have these technically 3 high, where basically you have 2 long and then it's clamped with 1 block deep. So that is basically how it functions. You can add more pretty easily without taking anything apart. You just have to apply the strings in the proper order. So you would use wood and attach it directly to the springs there. It's important that you have a block attached to each side of the spring, because the reason, if you've seen some people's videos, them trying to do it, basically springs clip into everything else. However, blocks don't. Blocks will collide properly with other things, so you need to have a block attached to each side of the spring for it to actually, do what it's supposed to do. So by having it like that, it's pushing up against all, 7 springs now? Yeah, so that is basically how it works. And the only difference here, if I were to put this on a pedestal, the only difference here is that I have it extended a little bit to give me some more clearance. And then these are, I just put a bearing right in the middle, and then these pivot back and forth, and that's to go over obstacles and stuff like that. And yeah, there's a ton. That doesn't really make any sense. Probably like 20 tons of weight on this vehicle. But boy, it behaves really nicely. It works. You will have example right there. If you hit something too hard, you'll have some problems. But feel free to experiment with it. It is way better. I started out just doing one, to prove the concept, and it clipped constantly, but adding that second block kind of makes sure it doesn't collide nearly as often. And you have to really try. Now, for a vehicle like this, it's probably not a very good idea to go fast anyways, especially with this much weight. But it does perform really well. And yeah, it's actually doing its job. It's not cosmetic. If I took all these off, it would just completely collapse under its own weight. So there you go. No more need to stack them like I was doing in my bus video. That has a few problems, mainly of which your vehicle gets really tall very, very quickly. Now what I like to do, let me get near an incline or something, is like hill climbing on this thing is really cool because you get to see all the physics and stuff. And it's 6-wheel drive, the way I have it set up. You also notice I have little blockers over the arms, and the idea there is I don't want the whole thing to flip around. Whenever, when one wheel has grip and one doesn't, I want it to just hold the grip there, sort of like, I don't know, some sort of X-axis like differential, sort of like locking in place so it doesn't move. Yeah, when you have it working right, it looks really cool. Oh, and then the cornfields. And I would do one of those arms on the front, except steering will be really weird unless I had it either far out from the vehicle or like underneath it. And it really does actually smooth out the ride. Pretty cool. I tried making one where it was pretty much all of those arms. Basically all the wheels were those arms, and man, I got about 5 frames per second. So feel free to make tanks or semi-trailers or whatever is really heavy. This was something that I was really bothered with. But try not to go fast. Let's go faster. That sometimes happens. It's just like the video's done. I just enjoy watching the suspension work. Especially with that dual wheel arm thing. If we're going up here, I'm gonna turn these down a little bit. Wish I could control it with like my mouse wheel or something. Understeer. I should see about having those things rotate. Get one of those like shuttle movers. It seems like the proper speed for the size and weight of this thing. You can see it glitched out a little bit, but fixed itself. See, it's perfect. It's just so satisfying to watch. Go backwards. No. That's awful. Fuck. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh no. There we go. Okay, I'm done. See everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. Man, that's satisfying. That's really satisfying.